What else?
I first saw the signs of anxiety in Leia when she was in primary school. Social anxiety, fitting in, and the anxiety was mostly coming from keeping the one friend and, the drama battles.
The need to achieve high marks at school, and then once you add sports to that and social activities, etc., it's a huge workload.
He was in grade 2. Actually, it's the school that called me because he couldn't stay put. He doesn't talk to anybody. He closes himself. That's when I start worrying.
The difference between stress and anxiety is really the temporality. So stress would be what they feel when they're in front of their classmates and they're giving the oral presentation, whereas anxiety is what they would feel the night before. They're trying to go into bed, they're trying to sleep, they're thinking about the future, they're anticipating, projecting themselves in the future. But it's important to understand that anxiety and stress are completely normal and very useful. Also, when you're in the exam, if you feel a stress response, we need that response to perform well. But on the other hand, when it starts impairing your function, then that's important to go consult.
When I know there's exams, anxiety is way up. He studies and studies. I see him breathing hard. He's not even eating. He's not even drinking.
She was caught cheating at school twice. When we spoke to her about why she felt the need to cheat, it was about the fact that she didn't want to be the dumb girl in her class. All her friends were getting in the 90s and above.
Anxiety can be described by a characteristics called NUTS. So we can use the sentence, don't go nuts with stress. So the acronym NUTS, the N stands for novelty. So novelty is if a situation is new or if an element of an old situation is new. The U stands for unpredictability. This can cause us stress if an element of a situation is unpredictable. The T stands for threat to our ego. So when we feel like somebody is questioning our ability to do a task, this can cause us anxiety. And the S stands for sense of low control. So the key here is to think that we believe that we don't have control over a situation, and then that in turn can cause anxiety. Anxiety can manifest itself in many different ways. So we can have physiological symptoms like our hands are sweating, our heart's racing rapidly. We can have behavioral symptoms and even cognitive symptoms.
Pacing from his room, going out his room, going to the bathroom. He has ways of turning his head left, right.
She is quite moody. If I make a comment, she does a lot of internal turning over, and then she doesn't like being interrogated. So she'll say, what is this? Are you the FBI? I don't have to answer all your questions.
I think what's most challenging is how on edge everyone is when it's not really well understood and where it's coming from.
I find it challenging because I don't really understand how it feels to be anxious. I'm not an anxious person, so I'm probably not as sympathetic or empathetic as I should be. I might be a little bit impatient at times, and I feel bad about it.
I'm the annoying mother, and I know I am, so he gets angry, doesn't talk to me.
You are definitely walking silently around the house. You don't want to get the big anxiety monster out.
I feel like I'm not a good mother. I sometimes cry.
It's important to remember that we don't necessarily need to understand what the adolescent is going through. So what we should do, on the other hand, is acquire their emotion. We should validate it and really work with them to see, okay, which context, which situation is provoking anxiety for you. Something we should definitely avoid is saying something like calm down or relax, because this minimizes the emotion that they're feeling. What parents should also avoid doing is putting words in the mouth of their teenagers. So it's really important and actually a vital skill for adolescents to learn how to identify what they're feeling, to put words on it, and which plans can we put in place or which tools in your toolbox can we use in order for you to feel less anxious in the future.
I don't have particularly any tools besides communication.
Breathing, I think, because I've suggested meditating, being able to just breathe and calm your mind.
So it's important as parents to make sure that adolescents have a toolbox full of multiple tools. And cognitive manifestations of anxiety could be anxious thoughts, it could be worries. So we can use auto-compassion. So it's almost to treat yourself as if you were giving advice to a friend, or give the same love that you would to a friend to yourself. Another thing that we can do is almost to imagine that you're looking at a highway. So imagine the cars that are passing through your vision as your thoughts. So as they come into your line of vision, they also can leave. So these anxious thoughts are temporary and they will fade and come out of your mind. Another aspect of anxiety are the physiological symptoms. So a stress response dates back to prehistoric times when we had mammoths in our environment. So the way that these prehistoric men and women survived is when they saw a mammoth coming towards them, the brain sets off a little alarm and it says, there is a danger in front of me. So today our body produces the exact same response as prehistoric men and women did when we saw a mammoth. So things that can help with these symptoms are physical exercise. We can sing, we can scream at the top of our lungs to release all of this mobilized energy that we have. We have to remember that anxiety and stressors are never going to go away. They're always going to be in our daily lives, and that's a good thing. We need stress and anxiety in our lives. So it's really important to learn how to manage them and not just think that we can avoid them at all times. And as parents, we can encourage and almost congratulate our adolescents when they overcome situations of anxiety. And this in turn will help them be more confident and feel more prepared in future situations to be able to overcome these new situations.
I want her to be proud of who she is. I don't want her to feel like she has to follow others to survive socially. I want her to find her own identity and be proud of herself. I'm very proud of her. She's a really cool human being.
I wish that my boy could learn how to live with his anxiety and he'll be happy.